In a world where we're constantly juggling multiple tasks, responsibilities, and expectations, it's easy to feel stuck, stagnant, and completely out of sync. But what if I told you there's a way to tap into a state of effortless ease and fluidity where everything seems to fall into place naturally? This, my friends, is the art of flow, and today we're going to explore how Lao Tzu's timeless wisdom can help us achieve it. Lao Tzu says, "Those who flow as life flows know they need no other force." Lao Tzu was an ancient Chinese philosopher and writer, known as the founder of Taoism. He is also believed to be the author of Taoism's most important text, the Tao Te Ching. Taoism is a philosophy that teaches a life of ease by living in harmony with the Tao. The word Tao means path, method, principle, or way. Taoism is based on the idea that the Tao is the guiding force of the universe, a natural order that we can understand by living in harmony with nature. Taoism suggests that life is like a river. Most of us cling to the riverbank, afraid to let go and be carried by the current. But at some point, each of us must be willing to let go and trust the river to carry us safely. This is when we learn to go with the flow. Once we get used to being in the flow of the river, we can start looking ahead and guiding our path forward. So, flow is about living your life with as little resistance as possible. It's about letting your life unfold naturally while making mindful choices about what's ahead. In this video, we will talk about 6 ways to be in flow with your life, inspired by the wisdom of Lao Tzu. 1. Let go of your ego. Lao Tzu once said, "The ego is entranced by names and ideas. However, names and concepts only block your perception of this great oneness." Taoism teaches that everything is connected, and we are all part of something bigger. We are more than just our job titles or physical appearance. Only when we let go of this false identity created by the ego can we live a truly fulfilling life. When we tie our identity to what we do for work or the title we hold, we put ourselves in a box. These boxes become like prisons, where we are always trying to live up to these identities. If you focus too much on labels, job titles, and money, losing those things means losing yourself. We need to understand that our name, possessions, and profession, things that make up the ego, do not define who we truly are. The Tao says, "That which can be named is not the Tao." When you label someone, including yourself, you limit them to the expectations that come with that label. Taoism does not discourage having goals and pursuing them. Instead, it tells us not to get too attached to the ideas or identities we create. When we are too attached, we hold on to things longer than we should, which goes against the natural flow of life. For example, many people go through life proudly attached to their job titles. They may have held high-paying and respected positions for decades, but when they get fired, their whole world falls apart. This is because they can't let go of their narrow self-identity. Instead of seeing the unity of all things and how we are part of a greater whole, we often reduce ourselves to a mere job title or physical trait. We are born without any preconceptions. We have no idea of race, religion, or social class as babies. It is only as we grow older that we cling to these ideas, even believing they define us. We separate ourselves into groups and avoid people who don't fit into the same category as us. The Tao Te Ching tells us to forget the rules and flow freely in whichever way life takes us. We need to understand that we are already connected to everything we think is missing in our lives, like love, happiness, and inner peace. We just need to align ourselves properly to find them. Lao Tzu teaches that we are like onions. We must peel away the different layers to become free. He says, "When I let go of what I am, I become what I might be." Once we become free, especially from the ego and false identities, we will find that everything we have been longing for flows into our lives abundantly. 2. Dare not to be first. Lao Tzu tells us, all streams flow to the sea because it is lower than they are. Humility gives it its power. Humility is one of the 3 treasures of Taoism, along with compassion and simplicity. In Taoism, humility is expressed by the phrase, dare not be first. This means we should not always try to be ahead of others. Taoism teaches that we are all just small parts of the great oneness. We can think of ourselves as rivers that all flow into a single stream of water. Even though the rivers seem separate, they are all connected to the same source, the Tao. If we apply this idea to our lives, we see that, like the rivers contributing to the same body of water, we are all part of a larger whole, guided by the same universal energy. In the competitive world we live in today, we often forget this wisdom. Many of us want to be the first to achieve something or reach somewhere, but this can be risky and may take more time and energy than is reasonable. When we go against the flow of life, we are not in harmony. Competing to be first can also upset others, causing them to react negatively, sometimes even with anger or violence. Our struggles to achieve our goals often give us a false sense of value, which may not match the actual worth of those goals. As a result, we become too focused on labels, titles, social status, and wealth. When we reach our goals, our egos grow, and we may start looking down on people who are not at our level. But the truth is, no matter how much one competes or succeeds, none of us are truly self-made. Think about it. How much of your life have you really earned? First, our lives depend on our parents. They feed us, protect us, and take care of us as babies. Did we earn that? Number A's children, we had teachers who taught us to read and write, parents who provided us with food and clothes, and a community that offered support. As teenagers, we still relied on our parents and community for basic needs. So, as adults, how much of our lives have we truly earned? According to Lao Tzu, none. Our lives are gifts from others, not ourselves. Therefore, we should not look at someone less fortunate and think they earned their position while we earned ours. We have no right to have an inflated ego, because none of us have earned our place in life on our own. Humility, understanding that we are not at the forefront of the world, is the only honest way to relate to others and the world. Humility is not a weakness or a tool to get what we want. It is simply reality. There are different ways to practice humility. One way is to take a walk in the evening and think about everyone around you, your family, friends, neighbors, and co-workers, without thinking about their labels or wealth. Consider what problems they might be facing. Some might have marital issues, others might be struggling financially, and some might be dealing with addictions. Think of ways you can help them without expecting anything in return. If you see yourself as part of others' lives, their problems will become your problems. But in the same way, their joys will also become your joys. 3. Let go of your desire to rush things. Lao Tzu says, "He who rushes ahead doesn't go far." We've all experienced moments when we are in the zone, when everything we do seems to happen almost automatically, without any struggle or effort, like a dance that flows smoothly. In Taoism, this idea of being in perfect harmony without effort is called Wu Wei. Wu Wei translates to effortless action or non-doing. It doesn't mean doing nothing. Instead, it means aligning our actions with the natural flow of life. Being in the zone means being one with what we are doing. It's a state of deep focus and flow where we don't need to force things. When we are in this state, time seems to slow down, and we feel like we are one with whatever task we are doing. Take the example of trying to fall asleep. The more we try to force ourselves to relax, the harder it becomes. Instead of staring at the clock and worrying about how much sleep we can still get, it's better to just let go. Trying to will yourself to sleep doesn't work. Instead, if you simply observe your thoughts as they come and go, you can relax and drift off naturally. When we follow our body's natural rhythm, things get done more efficiently and with less effort. But when we push against that rhythm, it takes more time and energy to get things done, and sometimes nothing gets done at all, no matter how hard we try. One of the best ways to practice Wu Wei is to let go of the desire to rush things. Often, when we want something, we want it right away. For example, if you want to start a new business and achieve financial freedom, you may want clients to come immediately. This impatience fuels our busy minds and keeps us from being present in the moment. No matter how hard you try, success won't come knocking on your door instantly. There is always a process that takes time, and it cannot be rushed. If you want to succeed, you must release those impulses and let things happen naturally. This natural flow doesn't just apply to work goals, it affects every part of our lives. If you want to get better at a skill, there will always be a series of steps you need to follow. The most valuable things in life don't come from shortcuts. This doesn't mean that by just letting go, everything will magically happen for you. On the contrary, taking action is very important to achieving anything. But those actions need to be combined with an understanding that everything has its natural timing. Nothing will happen earlier or later than it should. 4. Embrace change. Lao Tzu once said, "New beginnings are often disguised as painful endings." One of the great qualities of water is that it deals with obstacles effortlessly as it flows toward its destination. Water can change direction, and it can also change its form. It can become steam or ice. This makes water very versatile. Like water, Lao Tzu says, we too can live in harmony with the natural flow of the Tao, the way of the universe. For Lao Tzu, one of the secrets to living in harmony with the Tao is to accept that life is always changing. Life is like a storybook, made up of many chapters, each bringing us different lessons and experiences. However, our lives are often controlled by our resistance to change, making us cling to the previous chapters and making it hard to move on to the next one. We are creatures of habit, and we often dislike change and uncertainty. We face change with fear and dislike instead of seeing it as something positive. But, as Lao Tzu said, we need to let go of what we were to become what we could be. For example, if you have lived in the same country all your life and then receive a job offer that could boost your career but requires you to move to another country, it's natural to feel hesitant. You may want to stay in the comfort of your own country, spend time with the same friends, visit the same restaurants and coffee shops, and keep having the same experiences. Or, if you break up with your partner, you might feel great sadness and go through a period of grief that is hard to recover from. You may find it difficult to look for another partner or even to go out and meet your friends. This tendency to resist change often blocks our ability to see things clearly in the long run. It is like having short-sightedness that prevents us from seeing the great things that could happen if we are willing to turn the page to the next chapter. It is only by breaking free from the chains of our current circumstances that we can unlock the potential for growth. 5. Be content with little. Lao Tzu teaches us to be content with what you have. Rejoice in the way things are. When you realize there is nothing lacking, the whole world belongs to you. Among many things Lao Tzu talked about, one of the most important was the feeling of inner peace and harmony. He says this is impossible to achieve when we focus on what we don't have, material objects and possessions that we think we are missing. Considering the times we live in, an age filled with social media and celebrity gossip, Lao Tzu's advice is more relevant than ever. Today, people are often glued to their phones, scrolling through their social media feeds. We often see a friend's photo from a relaxing vacation in Hawaii or a big party where they are having the time of their life. Meanwhile, we are lying in bed, wishing we could have similar experiences. What we don't realize is that even if we got all those things we think we want, we would still end up unhappy. Our natural tendency is to always want things we don't have. You might think that by getting $1 million, you would instantly become happy, but that is not true. As soon as you fulfill one desire, many more desires will appear in your mind. Once you have $1 million, you will want 10 million. Once you have 10 million, you will want 50 million, and so on. This endless craving keeps us from feeling satisfied. This is why we must let go of our desire for things we don't have and be content with what we do have. Lao Tzu advises us to lessen selfishness and restrain desires. Instead of spending so much time and energy wishing for your friend's expensive car, release your need and desire for those things and focus on what you already have. Think about what you might be taking for granted. As you watch this video, remember that you have access to almost anything on the internet. You are likely well fed, you have shelter, you have relatively good health, and many other things. It is natural for us to overlook the things we already have and focus only on what we want. You may get the life partner of your dreams, but once you are in a relationship with them, you might start taking them for granted. This attitude is common. It's almost a part of being human. But with the right mindset, we can change it. As mentioned earlier, we need to realize that we are already connected to everything we think we are missing, such as love, happiness, and inner peace. We just need to align ourselves in the right way. One way to do this is to be content with little and appreciate everything we have around us. 6. Accept your flaws. In our final quote from Lao Tzu for this video, he says, "When you accept yourself, the whole world accepts you." One of the main teachings of Taoism is to stop fighting against our own nature and our own flaws. Instead, we should accept ourselves for who we are. According to Taoism, when we learn to accept ourselves, when we are more tolerant of our flaws and kinder to ourselves, the rest of the world will follow. People will start to treat us better as well. The more we accept ourselves, the more the entire world will accept us. Many times we obsess over our imperfections and focus too much on our flaws because we want approval from others. We think that if we are not perfect, or if we don't have everything in order, other people won't like us. Because of this, we sometimes dislike some of our own qualities so much that they cloud our view of the world. This can happen even though we have many positive qualities. Imperfection is everywhere. It is part of who we are. Thinking that we would be happier if we could just fix all our flaws is not the way to go. For example, if you feel you are overweight, instead of attaching your self-worth to your weight, you can choose to let go of the need for control, stop resisting your flaws, and accept yourself as you are. Choose to love yourself the way you are, and recognize the imperfections that bother you. If you are overweight, but you start to accept yourself and not focus too much on this, you will gain confidence in yourself and treat yourself more kindly. When you present yourself with more confidence and happiness, people will have a better impression of you and will overlook any extra weight. So, don't try to desperately change yourself. Of course, you can join a fitness center and be mindful of what you eat, but you should not worry about the result. And it should not be because of what others think of you or wanting to look good. It should be because of other benefits, like how exercising makes you feel good. Our brain is made to solve problems, and if you see your physical appearance or a behavioral trait as a problem to solve, you will put a lot of pressure on yourself and create negative energy. This negative energy will be felt by others and can make your flaws seem worse, hiding your positive qualities even more. When you resist the fact that you are not as slim as you want to be or not as rich as your neighbor, you unleash inner turmoil. To enjoy a smoother flow in life, make no distinction between negative and positive and accept yourself completely. So, how can you apply these learnings to your daily life? How can you incorporate Lao Tzu's wisdom into your morning routine, your workflow, your relationships? The key is to start small, to start slow, and to start with an open heart and mind. Experiment with each tip, see what resonates with you, and make it a part of your daily practice. Which learning resonated with you the most? Share with me in the comments below. Thank you for watching and being a part of this journey with Artist at Living. If you found value in this video, please like, comment, and share it with others who could benefit. Your support helps us grow and reach more people on their path to wisdom and inner peace. Don't forget to subscribe for more insights from ancient wisdom to enrich your modern life.